Welcome back, friends, to Let's Play Rule the Waves 3 as Germany, starting in 1935. It's 1958, and we've got stuff to do. We have a 5-year plan to plan, because having not planned it, I managed to get myself into a little bit of a cash flow pickle, which I've averted, but lesson learned. We need to look at 1957, just to get our heads around what happened last year. And also, there's an awful lot of nearly but not quite techs bubbling under the surface, which I think are collectively quite transformative, as if we hadn't had enough change. So we're going to have a little look at that as well. 1957. So we've got these beautiful heavy guided missile cruisers building. Coming along nicely, thank you very much. A good year or so, or half year for them to finish. We've delivered a new set of fleet destroyers, pre 3,800 tons. We have a good set of destroyer escorts delivered, and I'm pretty happy with these, and I might well just build quite a few more of those. We have guided missile submarines in various states of construction. We've had to pause it because money. So the nice thing is they don't really change in terms of technology. Certainly the technology around submarines is an awful more stable than the technology around ships. So pausing the submarines should do, less damage to the submarines, and I can turn them on and off as the money allows. We've requested a new Speedy naval patrol airplane. We have a light jet fighter in advanced development, and our heavy jet fighter and our jet attack have both got good reliability, which I'm delighted about. That's going to make a really big difference when it comes to pushing out the aeroplanes for battles. We almost had awards with the UK. Possibly France, although France does seem very reluctant. Certainly the UK marched all the way up to the top of the hill and has marched some way back down again. As I've said, we had a nasty bit of a cash crisis, wiping out most of the funds that we'd very cautiously pulled together previously. And important to call out, we had an officer purge that we avoided. We said, no, we're not purging the officer corps. It cost us prestige, but my hunch is that it saved us a lot of high quality officers who didn't get put to the Gestapo or whatever. On the downside, the research has been remarkably light this year. The only biggie is anti-missile decoys, which helps with missile defense, which is brought forward a lot. I mean, like 1960 or something is its notional year of introduction, but otherwise, lots and lots and lots of technology bubbling under the surface, more of which in a moment. In terms of finances, well, we were at 690. We did go a lot higher. I can't remember now, but a lot more than 704, but still we're 14,000 higher, and potentially will go higher again once tension starts to pick up. It's caused our construction to go down to 11, and our funds, which were in 55, something like 100,000, down to 32,000, down to 21,000. So a big drop there. And yeah, only 4 techs, one of which really, really mattered. The diplomacy, so here it records a 10 versus Britain. That had been 11. It's currently now a very pedestrian 8. I'll see what I can do about that. Otherwise, bits and bobs, but, nothing particularly noteworthy. Let's have a look at these techs. So, we are in 58. What is going to happen in 59 and 60 in particular? Much less 61 and 62. It's really 59 and 60. I've highlighted in blue the ones that I'm really keen on. So I'm really keen on double SAMs. Being able to shoot twice the number of missiles per air raid does seem intrinsically a really useful thing to do. The towed array sonar. I'm not sure what that's going to do, but again, surely it must help things along. And I'm mindful not to build any more destroyer escorts or corvettes or ASW torpedoes until we get this, because this again might change things quite a lot. The 3800 destroyer, mythically, we've been waiting for this for a long time. It is a 1960 technology, so, you know, arguably we should just be patient. 3800 would allow us to put medium SAMs onto our destroyers. Base bleed shells doesn't sound very exciting, but it gives a 10% increase in range to all guns. Well, that's handy, isn't it? Quite like that. And gas turbines seem like a major help in terms of reducing the weight of engines and the number of shaft horsepower you get. So, yeah, I mean, all the rest are pretty useful. Short-range air-to-air missiles, light SAMs, light air-to-surface missiles. That all seems nice. Improved ship comms. Yeah, of course, why not? Silent propellers, multi-domain directors. Sounds like a handy thing. So, yeah, lots of goodies coming soon. Who knows when? Okay, next I've called this eyes versus stomach. You know, when your eyes are too big for your stomach. Well, this is our stomach. So our budget, we are at a pretty high level of war preparedness. Now, we could dial that down, but currently it's giving us 11,000 a month in construction. 132 annually, 660 over 5 years. We could increase that by, say, 3,000. Always a bit painful dialing down your war preparedness, but if in the first 6 months things, you know, keep on being all flowers and, you know, sunshine, then I may well have to, and that will allow us to boost things along. In terms of our greedy eyes, if we built everything that looked attractive, it would be costing something like 22,000 a month, so we can realistically only build half of that. This is why you plan. Okay, what are those greedy eyes feasting on? Well, first of all, we have our CVs. I would love to put twin medium surface-to-air missiles on them. That would come out, particularly the three biggies, that would come out at 1,025 per month per ship. It would cost about 10,000 for the complete refit. So for 3 ships, that's going to be about 30,000's worth. For the battle cruisers, I'd love to fit heavy and medium SAMs. That would cost about 2,000 a month per ship, 16,000 for the 4 ships. So 64,000 by the time all of that has been done. You can see why I'm sort of more interested in the monthly cost, because I can budget more easily on the monthly cost. Heavy cruisers, well, we've converted the old ones and we are building a set of 3. I probably would like to build a 4th for another 3.3, costing 92,000. So just one heavy guided missile cruiser costs 92,000, which puts into context how reasonable the carrier and the battle cruiser refits are, because combined they're the same as a new heavy guided missile cruiser. CLs, really waiting until we get twin medium SAMs before I build any new ones. I'd also like this missile cruiser tech, which I think is actually we're behind on. So we've got things like anti-missile decoys, which we're ahead on, but missile cruiser we should have had but haven't had. Anyhow, a new CL would cost us something like 2,000 a month, or a total of 48, or give or take half the cost of a heavy cruiser. Destroyers, so as ever, we're waiting for 3,800 tons. They will cost around about 1,000 a month. If I build 6, that will cost something like 108,000. Destroyer escorts, well, we've got 16 new ones, which are pretty good. We've got 11 what I'm going to call poor ones. They're not actually that old, but I must have built them too early because they seem to have been deprecated in the changes in ASW technology and not performing well. So if I made 11 new ones to early retire these underperforming ones, that would cost 2.7 a month, 38,000 in all. I have some 21 old, and by old I mean ancient Corvettes. If I was to replace all of them with destroyer escorts, that would be 5,000 and a quarter a month, or 73,000. I mean, I could just keep them as ancient relics just to do minesweeping and what have you anyhow, but just as a thought exercise, what would happen if I really went to a primarily all-destroyer escort fleet with just the ancients as minesweepers? And then the guided missile submarines, which I think really are the only submarines I'm interested in at the moment. We're building 12 off and on. If we built another 12, that would be 4.4 thousand a month, or 83,000 over their lifetime. So comparable to the cost of a heavy cruiser. So that gives us various bits of scoring. If we have a look instead at the 5 years, well, we're already building-ish some of these guided missile submarines. I think we're actually only doing 3. They should be finished about here, but, you know, extend it into 1959 as we dial it up, dial it down. And we are building nearly 10,000 worth of heavy cruiser. So that's what we've got on the slipways already. In the first section, we could, well, just add another one of these heavy cruisers. Oh, no, sorry. We could, 2 of these will end about here, and the third one will carry on into mid-59. Sorry, that's what that one is there for. But once we finish with 2 of these, we could essentially replace it with redoing the battle cruisers. It might be sentimentally the last refit they ever have, but that seems fine. Equipping my battle fleet with as many heavy SAMs that intercept planes before they've dropped their missiles seems like a good thing. Who knows whether it is or not. The third bit would look something like this. So I would probably carry on with another 12 surface guided missile submarines. I would carry on with this extra new heavy cruiser, and then I would start with the destroyer escorts, and then these Corvette replacements, which also would be destroyer escorts, and I'd probably do it in 2 sets rather than all at once. The guided missile submarines may get turned on and off as money allows, and then I would refit the carriers with their SAMs and do a new light cruiser. This is only 1. If money is coming along nicely, I may well do more than 1. And then a new set of fleet destroyers. So that's the rough 5-year plan. If you read down, everything should cost around about 11, dialing the submarines up and down. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, some little bits of gaps here, but that's fine. So that's the plan. That's what I'm intending to push through. Let's see if the plan actually works or not. It certainly really helped in the past. Let's go and have a look where we are up to right now. Okay, so let's see what we can do to, you know, stoke the fires of war. I mean, Britain down at 8. Poor. The French at 5. I mean, I, on the one hand, I really can't blame the French. They've lost 2 wars. It hasn't gone well. Italy, of course, are our friends, so there's, you know, not much mileage there. There's no love lost with the Soviet Union, and yet they seem to be remarkably reluctant to be angry with us and are stuck at 4. Japan like us. Yeah, okay, one One group of dictators likes another group of dictators, fair enough. America is weirdly fine with us. So yeah, let's push the turn button on and see what chilly February brings us. So some ships have worked up, which is all to the good, all that. Missile cruisers. So allows building missile-equipped light cruisers without armor, which, you know, let's be honest, isn't really do very much. New naval patrol aircraft prototypes ready for evaluation. Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay, so we asked for Speedy, hoping that that would give us faster transit times to long-range patrols that would then mean faster intelligence. And we got from 154 cruising to 163. So 9 knots faster. And for those 9 knots, we got substantially less range. We got less firepower, slightly more maneuverable. Woo! Quite a bit less tough. The weapons load is, you know, all fine, but not really anything significant difference. So I'm going to say no. I you know, this is not what I'd hoped for. 9 maximum of 9 knots faster is not going to make any difference. So I'm just going to cancel. This 1952 plane is doing fine. New jet fighter, the fastest of heavies. Okay, let's look at the news. Laying downs, commissioning, nothing particularly interesting. Oh, a light carrier. Nice to see someone still building light carriers. You know, since the days of converting carriers in the 1920s, I've never really been a fan of light carriers. I'd like them, a bit like helicopter carriers or seaplane carriers. I'd like them to be a thing, but their actual value is less than the value you get out of one big carrier, except of course in terms of survivability. You know, you get 2 flight decks. Some commissionings. This question mark Rear Admiral placed in charge of the 3rd Flug. I'll want to just have a look at that, and another below average for the Augsburgs. We're just so short of Fregattenkapitans, it's not true. France has a budget balance of 5,000. Well, boo for France and its financial prudence. It's putting a lot of effort into gunnery. So again, I think that's the 2nd time. So they're clearly doing the gunnery doctrine. And then invented the Higgins. I mean, that's an ancient technology. I don't know. Light anti-ship missiles is a good one. And anti-missile decoys is what we had too. So, okay. That's fine. Let's go to our aircraft types. Because we're keeping this, we can ask for a new one. So first off, I'm just having a little comparison of what we know about our heavy jet fighters, because we've had a couple of messages. So the Short Fury is a little faster, 15 knots faster than our Messerschmitt. And this Soviet Beriev is also 15 faster. Well, that's fine-ish. In terms of range, we're pretty comparable, aside from this Japanese Mitsubishi, which seems to have massively longer range than anybody else at all. And then I think that's all we know. The main thing for me is we're good in reliability, and I think that will really, really count. So I'm fine for the moment. Maybe next year we'll look at a new jet fighter. Looking at the jet attacks, we have the fastest, reportedly, and also almost the longest range, the US Consolidated Duck. That's a fearsome name for a plane. has reportedly a longer range, but everyone else has reportedly a shorter range. And we have good reliability on that too. Just checking out the helicopters. Ours is teeny weeny bit slower than some helicopters. Range seems to be better than most, and of course good reliability, so very happy with that. Some are able to carry bombs, but you know, that's not what I want to be using my helicopters for. So if we have a look at my Arado medium bomber, it's middling in speed. It's middling in range. The Japanese have a particularly long-legged medium bomber. We can't really tell here about firepower and all the rest of it, or weapons load, but it seems fine. And it has average reliability. So I think that's probably going to be my new aircraft. I don't need an old piston fighter or a dive bomber or a torpedo bomber or a float plane. We've just looked at a naval patrol and didn't get anything. The others are all good. So yeah, it's medium bomber time. Yeah, okay. So I want speed, I want range, and I want reliability. Pick two. So I think I want to gamble on reliability, because it's a land-based plane, and yeah, it should be relatively mature technology. Speed in terms of being able to avoid caps and missiles and stuff like that. Range, just because. I think always speed. Range or reliability would be the two that I'd go for, and I'm going to plumb for range this time. So let's get that one going and see what turns up for that one in 10 months' time. So I've just checked through the officers. Yeah, 2 below averages I've had to give jobs to, simply because I don't have any other free. If we have a look at the captains, they're all fine. I've got that chap. I'm just going to swap him out. Yeah, so I've got no below average captains with the job, lots of average and above average captains with the job. Look at all of these question mark captains that I've got. I've had to give one a job. He's got a couple of battles under his belt. So I like to look at how young they are. I tend to favor younger officers who've got years of good service, particularly if they've had a battle. If we have a little look at the rear admirals, I've got plenty of rubbishy ones, but actually I've got lots of average. So they're slightly underemployed, 3 above average. And then look at these, tons and tons of rear admirals. So really not enough frigate captains compared to senior ranks. And then none of the admirals are below average, a few spare average ones, and a question mark. So that's all fine. Let's go to March and see what discoveries are. The old uprising in an African country. Well, the good news is the officer stuff that I did all threatened to take down our prestige. Used to be up in the early 50s. But if I send a battleship, that'll give me double prestige and double tension and some budget. And they all seem like really good things to have. Obviously, I don't actually want a colony, so that would be a bad thing. Okay, so the captain of the Peterstrasse has been promoted to rear admiral and put in charge of the second Leinen, the heavy cruisers, and a couple of question marks have been put in their place. The usual commissionings and what have you. And yeah, tensions with Spain and with Japan and the Soviet Union. Italy and France increases because of bombastic leader in Italy. We know some bombastic leaders today, don't we, people? Right. Ooh, that did the job. So it's up to 11 with Britain, up to 8 with France, 7 with the Soviet Union. The Americans, remarkably placid about the whole thing. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and it's taken our monthly balance into the plus, which allows me to go to probably a couple of these and resume them. Yeah, actually, a couple more. Yep, very happy with that. Let's see, ships under construction, just 4 months away from the Tirpitz, so that would be lovely. And let's see if this leads to war in April, or whether the British will back down again. Captain Klein has shot Captain Zur See Windmüller in a hunting accident. Right, we can't have that, or such things happen. Que sera. Well, because he's only a question mark, and I don't like my average captains who were still pretty good, we'll have to dismiss Captain Zur See Klein. That's not the behavior we expect from officers or indeed gentlemen. Flanked out washdown systems. I think that's a technology way in the future as well. Okay, allows helicopters and light jets to carry light air-to-surface missiles. Not earth-shattering, but certainly helpful. Yeah, in smaller engagements. Helpful in ones where the light jets on land base are near a battle and can chip in. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Okay, the Blumenvoss ready for operational service. So that's good news. We don't know what its reliability is yet, but I'm liking these overall reliabilities. So, and yeah, 694. I mean, that's fast. That really is pretty fast. So, yep, quite happy with that. Tensions have come back down with Britain. Italy and the Soviet Union have signed an alliance. Well, we didn't see that one coming, did we? That's what you get for being bombastic. World cruise for young cadets? Yes, of course, our newest and most powerful ships. Why that would increase tensions? Just, you know, a group of lovely boys experiencing the temptations of the world. But anyhow, and we'll take the Prestige as well. Acoustic torpedoes ticking away somewhere. Nothing of great interest in that lot. One of our admirals become a fleet admiral. We'll bully for them. Average ability revealed, which is always nice. Britain and France decrease tensions because they both have tense relations with Germany. Okay. Righty-ho. I got that wrong. Britain and France decrease tensions between each other because they have tense relations with Germany. And Britain and the Soviet Union decrease because... So Britain back up to 11. God, it was only some cadets. Seems really mean. We probably can put another submarine into... resume construction. Yep, happy with that. It would be great to have those come out. Lightweight gun turrets bubbling underneath, and double SAMs. Boo! So far eluded them. And another one, anti-missile tactics. Yeah, that sounds like something I'd really like to have. So the French have nicked some missile countermeasures from us. I think we should send a diplomatic note in the strongest language. Let's ignore that. So no interesting messages there particularly. So tensions with Britain and France are reduced because of the recent war. Tensions with the USA slightly increases. Tension between Britain and France decreases because they share common values and a love of cheese. Soviet Union and Japan increases because they just don't really like each other very much. Yeah, that's all fine. So that all drops down. Soviet Union has popped up, bubbled up quite a bit. And let's just push ourselves into July. Expresses concern our forces in the Baltic are insufficient considering the threat of the Soviet Union. Okay, so we'll have to move some of the fleet into the Baltic. Righty-ho. Let's do that. So we have commissioned our first 2 SSGs. So that's nice to see that finally coming off. That probably means we can get the remainder into out of halting and into resume. Lightweight gun. Oh, okay. Dornier has developed a fighter. See if we're interested in buying it. Dornier, you're wasting your time building a turbo-propped fighter. What were you thinking of? Right, so our captain on the air defense cruiser squadron has, well, above average and well connected. He's gone and left the service, probably, you know, to party or something. And so a question mark is being put in his place. I'll see if there's anything we can do. Tensions with France reduced because of the recent war. Yes, okay. And not much else of great interest there. So I've just moved the battle cruisers that are actually should be in reserve, but shush, to the Baltic, along with the heavy cruisers, along with the first light cruiser, and just see how that goes to fulfill the leader's paranoia about the slightly worrying Soviet increase in tensions. And that's it, I think, for this half year. So thanks very much, friends, for watching with me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.